Good morning. We're back. Hopefully you were able to watch the welcome, grab your tea, and you're ready to start our first class. So if you're joining us, this is the layouts class with Lindsay for the Let's Party event. And we are going to jump in just a second. I want to make sure that we have a few people on. Oh, good. Tammy, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Okay, great. So I'm going to apologize right now. I'm keeping a cough drop tucked in the side of my mouth here. I have some sort of allergy thing going on and I get a tickle and it's just not good. So I'm going to do my best and I'm ready to talk for 3 hours. So we're going to do this and get some pages put together. Okay. All right. So it looks like people are hopping on. Yay. All right. So I told you before, pull your kit out. Okay. And then good morning. Hello. All right. Pull your kit out, but leave it all nice and stacked here, okay? And we're gonna kind of talk through it. So your kit should have this cover sheet. Oh, hey, Heidi. Oh, thank you. Yeah, my watch band, if you can see it, I change it each month, really, because I don't wear that much jewelry, so this is kind of my fun accessory. So last month it was Disney, because we had spring break, so I'll share more about that later, but this one is strawberries and daisies. I couldn't find one that was tea party themed, so. Okay, in your class kit, you should have this cover sheet, which just basically gives your kit contents, and then it shows all of your layouts on the back, okay? Everything else you would have had to print it on your own. So these are the full instructions for each of the layouts. I've got them here. And then it was a separate document for the cutting guide, okay? And the cutting if you got the box, the cutting is very, very simple, all right? So we've got an extra page here for access only, front and back, but this is what we will start with today, is doing our cutting guide, okay? So I've put my sample here. All right, in your kit, you should have a lot of goodies. So when I first saw this collection and Tracy and I were messaging back and forth, and I wanted to use this, Simple Stories had just done a major change with their embellishments, specifically their ephemera, and pricing and different things. So I ordered a lot of this not knowing what it would be. So if you're used to Simple Stories, they're bits and pieces packages like this. They used to only have about 40 pieces in them, okay? Now they're more in line with like a Doodlebug package, which you'll see later from Tracy, okay? So this ended up with double the amount of bits and pieces that we normally have. So when I was designing, I completely forgot to use this. So you have a full extra package of florals that I didn't even touch because I guess I thought that I had dumped everything in one container when I was doing it, but this was more than enough, these new packages. And then the florals are still the same size. This one's 62, but these are still the smaller size. But Simple Stories has just been, changing things. They listen to different feedback from customers. So you should have these 2 packs. I'm going to set them aside. You should have a die cut pack that looks like this, and it should have some twine and enamel dots in it. Okay. Oh, thanks, Janet. I'm glad you're here. And then you should have the page pieces, which we are using these for the very first layout. So keep these handy. Okay. I'm going to put them right here. We've got foam stickers. We've got half of a paper pad, so yours might have a cover on it or not, but you should have half of a paper pad. That we're going to use right away. And then this is another change that Simple Stories made. So before, their stickers were a full 12 by 12 sheet. Now they have changed it, and it's this 6 by 12 format, and they have 2 different varieties. So this one is the icons. I just love being able to have cute stickers, title pieces, and I like having these words for tabs to add above photos, and especially in a mini album, they're cute too. So lots of changes, but all good. I've loved using all of it. All right, so after that, you should have your pile with your pieces by layout, okay? So what I want you to do is actually go to the bottom of your pile, and the bottom should have the cut apart cards. And I'm going to set this aside. Okay, so these are the journal cut apart cards, the 3x4 elements, and then the 4x6 elements. Okay, so these are what we're going to trim along with our paper pad. And then when we get to layout 2, we will do the little hexagons, like tracing and adding those to our layout. But this is very minimal cutting. I have an amazing paper cutting machine now that I took advice from Tracy, and it's been life-changing. So we're able to get it all prepped for you. I'm gonna shift things around. Get my trimmer here. Okay, so here is our cutting guide. And as you can see, I didn't use a ton. There's so much product in this kit that you have extras. So if you want to change something, please. I'm not the kind of teacher that says you must do what I do. I love to see your creative license with this. So there is a number on each one which indicates which layout. And the only one that's really tricky is, and it's not tricky, but it's just not as it looks, and that's this green lemons card, okay, right here. So I'm just going to chat while I start cutting these. I'm going to do the 3x4 cards first, okay? All right. Good morning, Kimberly. Got a lot of people on. Good. Becca, Christy. Okay, nice. It's hard to know in April if people will even be able to join because it's like soccer season, baseball season, you know, all the sports, and just spring is busy. And last year we did our event in May, but we felt like we were competing with so many events with National Scrapbook Day, which is next weekend. So we decided to shift to one weekend sooner, okay? All right, and FYI, I am left-handed. So if it looks to you like I am using my trimmer backwards, I probably am. Please don't panic. I had a woman in a class that was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing my trimmer wrong the whole time. No, it's likely me. This is how I do it. It's the easiest way for me, but I am a lefty, so I just have to always give that disclaimer in the beginning. Okay, so from my top row of cards, I'm just cutting these 3x4, and we only need this one that says Happy Days. So I'm gonna leave these right here. Oh, hi, Gina. If you don't know, Gina is the mastermind behind Tracy's instructions. Like, she is the most amazing helper with, I should say, coworker, assistant with Tracy. Like, I keep trying to steal Gina because she's so awesome. All right, I'm gonna do our middle strip. And what we need from this one is the bicycle, okay? Hello, Becca. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside and put these over here. And then the final one, we need this red card, and we need to cut this down to 3x3, so it's a square. All right, so if we have not met before, or you've not taken a class with me, my name is Lindsay of Lindsay's Layouts. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado with my husband and 3 girls. We also have 3 guinea pigs. So my daughters are Lauren, who is 18 and a senior, about to graduate. Maddie is 15, a sophomore, and we're learning to drive. And then Noelle is in 6th grade, and she just turned 12. Okay. Oh, see, thank you, Liz. Thank you. You made my day. Okay. Oh, Becca, are you and Jen scrapping together? Okay, I see that. All right, so let me go ahead. We need this card at the top with the cameras. And then we also have, like I said, 3 guinea pigs. They're also girls. We have Cinnamon, Pumpkin, and Nutmeg, known as the Spice Girls. So my husband is incredibly outnumbered in this household, but he is a really good sport. And yeah, and he's been my tech guy this morning. He got up early with me, and we're making sure that everything was working. So, okay, for the last one, I just need this bicycle card. All right. Our final full sheet to cut. Okay. Okay. Becca and Jenny are there together. Got it. All right. Liz is here for the Spice Girls. Yeah, so the guinea pigs have a very strict morning routine. Not strict because of me, strict because of them. And so this morning was a little bit different. So my daughter, my oldest, Lauren, left today for New York City for a trip with her choir. She will be performing at Carnegie Hall on Tuesday with her choir. So very exciting. So good for her to go and yeah, spread her wings a little bit. But we had to be up this morning at 4 a.m. So the guinea pigs don't usually get fed until between 6:30 and 7 a.m. All right, but we were up at 4 making noises, getting her luggage. And thankfully, a good friend of ours is chaperoning on the trip with all the 55 high schoolers, 55, taking to New York City. So she picked Lauren up and was able to take her to the airport because today was a little crazy. Okay, so this entire strip I am not using, so I'm just going to set this aside. Extras that, again, you can customize. These would be really cute for cards too. So we had Lauren loaded up in their Darcy's vehicle at 4:30 a.m. and yeah, the pigs were a little confused because they could hear us. Adam and I went back to sleep for a little bit and then woke up and got ready for the day. So I feel like I have a little bit of a hangover today just because I've been up and then asleep again. So we just need this yellow card from this strip. And then from this final column, we need this wood grain with the floral. I'm going to take this Life is Sweet one off of there, set it aside, okay? And then this one, you need 2 inches at the top and then 2.5 at the bottom because I actually split the card so it will peek out above and below in one of our bonus layouts. Okay, so it ends up looking just like that, okay? All right. How's everybody doing? Do you have your cards cut? You doing okay? I know I talk and cut, so then I go fast. So I just want to make sure that I'm keeping pace with everyone. And we'll move on to the paper pad next. So this morning, I jumped in the shower, got back out, 7 a.m., normal feeding time for the guinea pigs. They were screaming. They're like, we heard you earlier and you didn't feed us. So they get their organic lettuce, organic spring mix at 7. And then by 7:30, they're screaming again, and they're demanding their vitamin C. They get these little tablets, which I'm guessing taste like candy to them. Meanwhile, my daughter, the middle one, who shares a room with the guinea pigs, she doesn't hear this at all. I can hear it out in the kitchen. She doesn't wake up at all. She's a dead asleep. Okay, so the lemons card is 3 inches by 2 inches. And then 3 inches by 2.5. So I just turned it on here and cut it right at the 2-inch mark. Okay, so I've got it just like that. Okay, and then so I go in, give them their vitamin C, came down, we did a test live with Tracy to make sure everything was working, that Facebook was being kind to us today. And then I had to go back up because then they expect fresh veggies as a treat because our school morning routine, I'm in and out of there a lot trying to get Maddie out of bed. And so, yeah, they were demanding cucumbers and peppers. Then they go to bed. They sleep most of the day because that's their life. And they sleep in their little hammocks and couches. And yeah, so they're so fun. We love them. But yeah, they know exactly what time it is. They tend to wake up around 3 o'clock because that's when my kids start getting home from school. And then from 3 till 5, they keep asking for dinner, like, because they know 5 o'clock is dinner time. So, all right, I am going to go ahead and thank you. Okay, Jamie said doing great. I'm going to go ahead and switch to our paper pad. All right, and I've listed these over to the side as far as what we are using these for. Okay, so this first one, make your own sunshine and lemonade. We are using the grid side. If you have taken any classes with me, you know I love a grid. This we need to cut down to 5 by 7. Okay, so it's 6 by 8 right now. We're just going to take an inch off of each side. And I always try to take it off the top just in case this gummy part is left over from the paper pad. All right, so I'm going to take an inch off over here and an inch off over here. And then what we're left with is the 5 by 7. Okay, we're going to need that one. Then for our next piece in the paper pad, it should be the floral side, and the back of it is this green stripe, which to me I felt was very like 70s-ish kind of. This collection's interesting because it mixes like the real photographed pieces, and then it mixes these more whimsical designs. Okay, so for this one we need it to be 6 by 6. Again, I'm going to take the top off because I don't want that gummy stuff from the paper pad. Okay, so you should have a 6 by 6 piece. I'm going to move this over here. All right, the next one should be this strawberries, and then on the back side is this really cute red and white gingham. All right, so for this one, we're going to use the red side, and we need 2 pieces that are square, 3.5 by 3.5. This is for our bonus grid layout. All right, so I'm just going to line these up here. Do 3.5, and then 3.5. Okay, so I've got my 2 squares. All right, the next sheet is this sheet that says "Be Happy." And we just need the full sheet. We're going to use this side. I think we end up covering this up so that you can just set in your stack, full sheet, ready to go. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that off the top, just a tiniest bit, so we don't have that on there. Okay. All right. After that, we should be at our butterflies paper. Okay, so the butterflies on one side, and then this cute blue and white with the little tiny pink flowers. All right, for this one, we're going to need the squares again. Okay, the butterflies are going to be 3 by 3, so just 1 square, so you'll have the rest of it left. 3 by 3. All right, then our next one is going to be the tags, and you will be using every single tag for our first bonus layout. Okay, which this paper, yep, I'll back up. This flower paper right here is left whole, the Be Happy. Okay, and then after that, the butterfly paper, you just need a little 3 by 3 square. Okay, and then you should be ready for the tags. So for the tags, we're going to go ahead and just trim them all now. And then later we can snip off these edges with fussy cutting, or with your scissors, with your fine tip scissors. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. I love the Simple Stories paper pads. I always recommend getting it with every collection, because they have these bonus pages in there that aren't necessarily made as large 12 by 12 papers, like this one, like the one that had the lemons on it. I also like it because they shrink the patterns. So like this, the tags, they're so cute the way that they've shrunk it down to the smaller size. All right, so I'm going to make these. I'll mention this again when we go over the bonus layout, but I made the mistake of trimming these and then stacking them all on top of each other, and just doing a hole punch once. Don't do that. They didn't line up. So mine are a little wonky, but it's fine. I covered it with the twine. So if you haven't done this yet, like when you go to hole punch them, you need to do it one at a time because they just did not line up. Sorry, Jamie. Okay, perfect. Thank you for helping each other. My comments are a little bit delayed, so if it seems like I'm not responding, it's like a 30-second lag from when you post to when it comes through on my screen here. Okay, so I have all these adorable little tags. I'm just gonna keep them in a pile right up here. Okay, we are almost done. Like once we finish this paper pad, we're pretty much done with our cutting other than those little hexagons, okay? So we wanna do all of our tags. Then our next sheet in our paper pad is this fruit sheet, okay? We want the whole thing. That one came off not too bad, all right? Next, we're gonna use the strawberry side of the journal page. And this is going to be for that grid layout again. So it's going to be 2 squares, 3.5 by 3.5. So I did 3.5 here, turn it. So I've got one 3.5 square and the second 3.5 square. Okay, and you'll see when it comes together, but like that butterfly paper we cut earlier will fit exactly on there. I did the 3.5 so that you could do 3 by 3 photos and have them centered on there. So this is extra. You will not need it. Okay, so we're down to our final row on our paper pad. I'm looking at my cutting guide. I'm hoping everybody's with me, doing okay. This last row, we need this full sheet of green. Okay, then we need the full sheet of the next one, which is this dot. This one is one of my favorites of the collection. Love it. I love a polka dot anyway. I might trim that off just a tiny bit. There's a little bit of the glue on there. Okay. These last 2 sheets are the cut apart cards, and these are different than what you get with the other cut aparts. So just keep that in mind for buying their paper pads. So this lemons paper we did not use at all. Okay, and then the final paper, we're going to use this floral side. All right, so no to the lemons. And then this one, we're just going to cut it vertically, okay? Because we need 2.5-inch strips. So it'll be 2.5 by 8. So I'm going to do right here, 2.5. Then I need one more, 2.5. Okay. That is it for our cutting. Let me just reset a little bit and move stuff around. All right, hoping everybody's good. Got all of that done. It's not a lot of pieces, so I'm just going to keep mine in 2 piles. One pile is the paper pad, and one pile is the cards that we've cut. Normally, if I was cutting, a ton of pieces for the layout, I would have you do Post-its and number each one, but it's not a lot today. Okay, so we are going to start with our first layout, which is called Sweet Happy Days. For this one, we're going to need this die cut strawberry that I cut on the Cricut. And if you're access only, I try to include the Cricut links if you have Design Space. That's the best I can do, sorry, because most of these things I just get an idea in my head and then I kind of create it in Cricut. It's not necessarily a file that I buy or, that I can send you to unless it's like a cut file. So we're going to need this strawberry. We're also going to need this page pieces pack, okay? So my strawberry is in here. The white piece of paper in this bag was only for us to be able to slide everything in the kit without it falling apart. All right, so it doesn't serve any other purpose than that. If you want white for your photo mats like I have here, then it's usually about 1 sheet of cardstock per double layout that I do. Okay. Christy, I love this collection too. It's grown on me and it's just fun. It's got so many cute elements and yeah, I love it. Okay, so I've got my strawberry in the leaves that I pulled from here. And we'll also be using some enamel dots, so keep those handy. All right, and then the other thing, so I've got page pieces, strawberry. Now I'm going to need this card, Happy Days. So I'm going to go through my stack here. Very bottom. Okay, Happy Days, got that one. And then this was that full size 6x8. And it has, I think it might say Be Happy or something on it, and we're gonna hide it. Here it is. So a lot of times with a paper like this, I really liked it and I felt like it matched the other flowers that I was using, but I didn't want another Be Happy. I had enough. I forgot Happy Days, Happy Day. Yeah, so I just covered it up. That's, I just am hiding it with a photo. Maybe you like the pink side. Maybe you want to see that. It's up to you, but it's just something like, try not to get stuck with the papers and what they're suggesting you use it for. You can always tweak it and change it, right? Okay, so I am going to, oh, sorry, last thing. Got all of our pieces here. So, Happy Days, strawberry, page pieces, and this is 6x8. Then from your stack, you want the 2 wood grain pieces of paper and everything on top of them. All right, and then that's what we need for our layout. We will have to trim the barcode strips off the top. I love wood grain paper. Any shade, any type of wood, I absolutely love it. So anytime I see it as a B-side, so this is actually baby paper. I think it was Pebbles Baby maybe, but any wood grain. Echo Park has some great ones, so does Simple Stories. This was just one that I happen to have a bunch of and it works really well for this. Okay, let me set this aside. Excuse me. Okay. No coughing fits, but I had to blow my nose really quick. All right, so I am an inker. For this one, I am going to use my gray Quick Quotes ink. It's actually feather gray is what I use. And we're gonna start with the left page. So I'm gonna keep my left page here on the surface while we put together, and I'll have that one next to it, okay? The other thing I try to do when I am teaching is make it a little bit easier for the embellishments. Like for this one, I tried to just stick with this whole pack on this page. You don't have to do that. You can mix and match. You're going to have a ton of extra embellishments. If you don't want to follow that, that's fine. But teaching wise, it's easier for me and for you not to be confused as to where things are. Okay. Yes, I love so Christy said she just bought some of the wood grain albums. Love them. I absolutely love them. When Tuesday Morning was closing, I miss Tuesday Morning and I miss Joann's, but that's beside the point. When Tuesday Morning was closing, they had a couple of them as like the flip books, the 6x8 Simple Stories flip books. And so I bought them all because I'm like, I don't know when I'll need them or use them, but I've got them. And I think I'm down to like maybe 1 or 2 left. They're really pretty. All right, so you're gonna need this larger Strawberries paper. And then at the bottom, you're gonna have this strip and the gingham, okay? So it's gonna end up looking like that. That's our base piece that will then connect to the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink these and adhere them. Janet, I miss Tuesday Morning, partly because it was that dopamine hit, right? Like the thrill of the hunt. I mean, that's why Home Goods is so fun. You just never know what you're gonna find, but it's also really fun to go with my crafty friends and, you know, just look through together. And we probably spent more money because of that, because we were all enabling each other. But yeah, I really miss it. And then Like I said, Joann's. Whew, I really, really miss Joann's, especially at the holidays. And right now I am well, I don't even know how many years I've done it now, but I run the crafts for Vacation Bible School at our church. So I start in March, and then we don't have VBS until June. So this year I'm prepping for 800 kids. So Joann's was actually a really good, their summer camp stuff was always really good to go and get. And I could get large amounts. We had 2 Joann's in town, and yeah, I really miss it. And I liked all of their, they would get the American Crafts collections and have good deals and go grab Cricut stuff. And I still, I go to Hobby Lobby and I go to Michael's, but our Michael's has been so empty that, oh, my ink, sorry, Michelle. My ink that I'm using is Feather Gray. I think you could get away with black or any shade of gray. It would also be fun to do like a teal, green, or pink with this, but I stuck with gray just to behave myself. I like using all the colors. So our Michaels, I had gone in there because I'm searching for graduation things on top of VBS and just my personal crafting, right? Our Michaels is so bare that they have signs up hanging on the shelves that say, no, we are not closing. New product coming soon. It's bizarre. Like, it's just, yeah. And I don't know if it's just ours or if it's all the Michaels. I'm not sure. But it's a little eerie going in there. Okay, so I have my 3 big base pieces down. I'm going to add my accent card, and this I'm going to pop up with foam squares. And then I also need this green. I think it looks to me like a 5x7, and it's yeah, got this orange. It does not go with this collection, but it was a green that perfectly matched. I think this is from summer, Simple Story summer, maybe last year or 2 years ago. Okay, so I have this one because I like to always have kind of a feature photo on my layouts, like your main photo that's going to kind of sum up the story if you had to just look at the one piece. So this is a 5x7, so that my 4x6 photo here will be kind of my feature photo. And then I left room here for, this is a 4x4 and a 3x4. I love the 4x4s, partly because I do the persnickety box. So I get the 4x4s, I get 1 box every month shipped to me, and it just keeps me ordering my photos. It's only 30 photos in a box, and it's amazing quality. And so that, yeah, I just like it. I also like 4x4s because I feel like most of my photos I take up and down with my phone. I forget to turn it, and it's usually because I'm doing it one-handed because I'm multitasking, right? So with the 4x4, because you're cutting it to a square, it doesn't really matter which way you flipped your camera. You can get either direction of photos that way. Okay. All right. So I did not grab my photo mats. Let me get this. So for photo mats, like I said, this is going to be 4x6, 4x4, and 3x4. All right. Let me grab white cardstock. All right. That brings me to my next topic, cardstock. That was another thing I would get at Joann's if I was running out. Cardstock has also been difficult to come by, and it's getting better. I just opened an account with Encore cardstock. If you're familiar with the 12x12 cardstock shop, they now have Encore cardstock that they're selling to stores for wholesale credit. So I've opened, and we finally have white cardstock again because I had it on order for more than a year and hadn't gotten any. So, and I always used American Crafts because that cut the best in my Cricut, and then I couldn't get it. All right, I'm gonna cut these other two so that I've got it done, get my trimmer out of the way. And these end up being 3x3, and they're gonna go on the other page. All right, so let's get these adhered. Most of my layouts, if you do any of my kits or if you take classes with me, I do about 5 photos, 5 to 6. There's no rule or reason that it has to be that, but what I've learned over the years is that I was too focused on getting the perfect photos, and I wasn't really enjoying a lot of these events that I need to be present for. And so it kind of took the pressure off me that if I knew I had like 5 good photos from a birthday party or from even prom, that I think we took like 500 photos at prom. Honestly, it was crazy. But if I have 5 good photos, then I can put my phone down and really just enjoy the event or the moment and know that I can still document it. So for me, in my head, that's what I do, and that's pretty much how I design everything. Okay, so let's get this photo mat on here. Let me see. Yes, okay, Paula. So what happened with PhotoPlay, just a little industry gossip, I guess. So we all found out at the same time. I was actually at the Simple Stories retreat when we got the email, and PhotoPlay just, boom, gone. We didn't have a chance to order anything. They didn't give us a heads up. I'm not sure what happened. Even some of their own employees were very shocked. And yes, their remaining stock all went to scrapbook.com. So I believe once it is gone, it is gone. Okay? Donna. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so Donna said that she always adds more photos because she has 50,000. I think I have 22,000 photos on my phone right now, so I'm right there with you, okay? So she manages to get 7 to 8 photos per 2-page layout. That's awesome, right? And then I don't know. I feel like more is more with our photos, right? Like that is great. All right, let me pop a cough drop real quick. My adorable cup that I got when I was in Omaha, because I just did a retreat there, a weekend event there called Crafty Academy, and that was one of my souvenirs that I got at one of the craft stores there. All right, so we have our layout built. What's left are these fun pieces. And I do have a tray. I don't know why I'm not using it. Okay, got all my pieces here. I didn't follow Tracy's instructions. I didn't have my pieces sorted ahead of time. But with Doodlebug, you have to. There's so many pieces. It's good and bad, right? Okay, so for this little tag, I tucked it under the photo mat here. And then, excuse me, I added these lemons and I used foam squares. I think Becca was commenting yesterday on my foam square obsession. I use a lot. I use a lot of foam squares. And these little papers are everywhere, everywhere. Not just in this room, everywhere in my house. It's like they cling to me and end up all over. And then the vacuum sucks them up, but then spits them back out. So they just end up all over the place. Lisa. I know. I feel like having access to our our phone and our camera all the time, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because then it's like we're overproducing and doing all these, too many photos that you'll never be able to scrapbook in a lifetime. But we've got options, right? Kind of like the pattern paper. Okay, so for this little tab, it says hello. I didn't want to see that, so I just slipped it underneath. That's going to go right there. And then we've got a butterfly. Oh, not the right one. Here it is. Okay, so we've got our butterfly right there. Now we're going to add this lemonade picture. So my daughter, my oldest, is about to graduate. And so sidebar real quick. Sometimes when I'm putting this on here and I don't want, if this was a photo and I don't want to put adhesive on the photo, what I do is line up my foam squares around the perimeter of the card like this, and then peel them off and then stick the die cut on there. So that way, so then it just goes on right there. And then I know that it's stuck on there for good and I don't have that adhesive on my photos. And all of our adhesives usually say acid free and it should be safe, but I just have trust issues with it, I guess. So for me, I can do that and then know that I'm getting it in the right place. Move this a little bit. Okay, so I've added my lemonade and my lemons, and then I've got 3 enamel dots right here. Okay, so my oldest, Lauren, is going to graduate Memorial Day weekend, and her theme for her graduation party is freshly graduated. So it's actually a lemon theme. So as I'm doing this, I'm like, oh wow, I'm getting all these ideas. And we're doing her main party at her friend's house. So it's kind of nice because her friend's mom has been through this graduation thing twice before and I haven't been. So we're more of like the decorating accessory side of things, whereas her mom is doing more of the logistics of all of it. Do I ink die cuts? Okay. Typically, no. Especially if they have like a cute little white border. If it's more of a raw edge, then I might ink them, like an Echo Park. But for simple stories, I don't typically do that. All right, excuse me. Okay. I am going to get our next one. All right, so does everybody have left side? We good? So I'm going to shift to our right page. Same way. I'll put the sample down and then... Okay. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put the gingham and the dots at the bottom. And then we're going to add these other pieces. My ink. Okay, you're still on the left side? Here, I'm gonna move it. I'll move it back for just a second and I can talk, no worries. So Lauren has decided to go to the University of Michigan this fall. Again, we live in Colorado, so it's going to be a long ways from home. But yeah, I'm excited for her. I just keep saying, the last month, I think the word I've used over and over is bittersweet, because there are so many moments that are special and the last of things. And I'm so happy, but I'm also so sad. So I am very excited for her though, and all that she's about to accomplish, and just praying that she's okay. And she's going into nursing. She's in the nursing program there. And we were there at the University of Michigan in February and got to do campus days and tour and see the nursing campus. And once I saw the nursing building and found out a little more about it, I just had a sense of peace. Like, I think this is the right place. I think that she's going to do just fine here. She just has had some health struggles. She was diagnosed rather suddenly with MS a year and a half ago. So for my mom heart and mom brain, it's very scary to have her be so far away. But we've got a lot of different backup plans in place, and we have family in Indiana and Illinois, and more people keep telling me all the time, I have this friend at Michigan, or I have someone in Ann Arbor. And so, yeah. So, but for the next month or so, we're going to be celebrating and focusing on our lemons and all the fun festivities that go with it. Yes, you're right, Christy. Yep. Okay. All right. So I'm going to switch now. Thanks, Michelle. I'm going to switch over to our right page and go ahead and ink that. Yeah, so what was so cool so University of Michigan is enormous. I mean, it's so big. And I think they're admitting like 8,200 freshmen. But the nursing group that she'll be with is 200. And so she'll be with those same 200 people the whole 4 years. So that really makes it a large campus much smaller, and it will give her kind of a family there to connect with. And she's going in ahead. She has a lot of her general classes done for the first year, and with nursing, you're not allowed to work ahead. You have to stay right with the group. So she'll get to start out with like some fun classes and just try out some things she's interested in and really just adjust. And yeah, I think it will be great. And we already have our rooms booked for parent weekend. And if you're like me, you probably have all of your crafty events planned. Like have got all my calendars done through 2027 of craft events that I'm going to or teaching at, or so I had it in mind. I'm going to She Loves Color, okay, because we all know Tracy's teaching at She Loves Color, right? She's a main educator. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to She Loves Color, and I had told myself, oh, if Lauren does end up in the Midwest, I'll just add on a couple days of She Loves Color and after that and go to Michigan and stay with her. Also, Parents Weekend for the last couple years has always been in September. Well, guess what? This year, it's the weekend before She Loves Color. So we're literally going to be flying there to Michigan. And then, yeah, I think a couple days later then is Designer Day now, because She Loves Color is over Halloween. And for some reason, the football game that they're doing Parents Weekend, it's the weekend before that. So it will still be fun. It will be great. But I was like, seriously, like, could they check with me next time when they're planning all of this? So it is a beautiful campus. Yes, it is. So Jamie, the day that we were there, it was sunny. It was 40 degrees, which for them was a heat wave at the time. Very slushy, icy, which was weird because in Colorado, we didn't have a winter. It's been very apocalyptic, I would say. Like it's been the 70s. We didn't have snow. We've had fires. It's just very crazy. But we were able to, I mean, we had walked almost 5 miles by 2 p.m. Like, cause they had we'd done tours and gone to all these buildings and all of that. So yeah, the trees, like the library, everything is really pretty. It's going to be okay. I love fall in the Midwest. Okay, Michelle, my daughter's at Alabama and it was bittersweet. I still miss her. Yes. Your son is a senior. Oh man, yeah. See that Maddie's a sophomore, so I'm like, oh, we're gonna go through it all again in 2 years. So I said to my husband, what did we do to ourselves? Why did we do this? Let's see. Liz, UM has a great medical campus, great place to be. Yes. And we've already, in the last 2 weeks, actually, we've had meetings with the disabilities office. We have a great team here at Children's that she can stay with until she's in her 20s. So yeah, we're getting a lot of it. It's just a lot. It's a lot to process and plan for and all of that. And in the medical world, they think when you turn 18 that you're magically this self-sufficient adult who knows how to take care of yourself, and that is not the case. So we're learning, and hopefully, in the next year or two, she'll be able to take more of it on as our own. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Jamie, we need to meet. Definitely. Okay. All right, so for my strawberry, the berry part is going down flat, but the leaves are going to have foam squares. So if you've done an event with me and with Tracy and I, maybe last year, I might have talked about my squirrel. I know if you follow Lael at all, she's got a lot of squirrel stories and a squirrel pin, and she always says squirrel moment and all that. I have an actual squirrel that has been kind of, I don't know, I guess he's my buddy. I don't know. So ironically, it was the fall right before Lauren got sick. And we hadn't had squirrels around because there had been a lot of construction in our neighborhood. And so Noelle and I had noticed when we would get home from after school pickup that there was a squirrel hanging out in the tree. So I'm like, okay, well, let's get him some corn, right? So I got him a little picnic table. Yes, they do make squirrel picnic tables. I got it on Amazon, and it's on a little tree branch, and it holds a piece of corn. Okay, so we put that in place. Oh, another thing that I altered, I didn't want that exclamation point, so I cut it off and just rounded that T right there, which is what I'm going to do right now. Because I didn't want to yell sweet, I wanted it to be sweet, happy days. All right. So my squirrel, he likes the corn. Sometimes there are as many as 3 squirrels that were there, but it was mostly this one squirrel. And squirrels in Colorado are like pretty skinny. They're not the same as like Midwest squirrels, which are just, I don't know, maybe they have to be plumper and furrier because of the weather and all that. So, my kids made fun of me, but I was taking care of the squirrel. Now, I get a lot of packages because I run my business from my home. I also shop Amazon a lot, like it's my job, right? And so a lot of my boxes are really, really heavy with paper. And so I always have a basket of snacks out for my delivery drivers. Michelle, one like this, I would add ink to, just to make it stand out because I'm going right on, right by that color of paper. And I moved it a little lower on this one, so. All right. So anyway, in the summer, I usually have, Gatorade or bottles of water, and then the rest of the time, we kind of switch it up seasonally. Well, I was noticing going to the mailbox, grabbing stuff. There were all these M&M wrappers, and I'm like, I'm giving the mailman a really nice treat. It's really kind of rude that he's littering in my yard. And yeah, well, as I am leaving to go pick Noelle up from school one day, here comes the squirrel running with a package of peanut M&Ms in his hand. Okay. Then he crawls up to his table, rips it open, and proceeds to shell the M&Ms. Like, cracks them open and eats the peanut inside. Okay. Leaves the wrapper. And yeah. So then I'm thinking, like, this is going to kill him. Yeah. He has not died. He's still alive. Okay, so fast forward, and I have Milano cookies because I can get those from Sam's Club in bulk, and they're good cookies. So like if I need one as a little chocolate fix, whatever. Adam went for a walk, came back home, and Mr. Squirrel is sitting above our front door on the roof eating the Milano cookies, and he throws the wrapper on the ground. Okay, so we have a problem. we have a squirrel that is literally addicted. So then at Christmas, we switch over, and I usually have Christmas candy out there for a while, and then the 2 weeks leading up to Christmas, the girls always, my daughters always help me, and we make little goodie bags that have a little tiny Starbucks gift card that I get them at Sam's Club, and then it's got the different candies in it, okay? So I only put out 1 or 2 a day because it's got the gift card in it, and my delivery guys are always, I trust them. They're not going to walk off with, 6 at a time. I was going through them pretty fast, didn't really think much of it. The day after Christmas, we still had some left, and I had put them in the basket outside. And my family was arriving that day because they usually spend the week between Christmas and New Year's with us. And I opened the front door to go greet them, and here is the squirrel up on our planter, and he is destroying, it's a Ziploc bag, like it's a thick Hobby Lobby Ziploc bag, and he's eating Hershey Kisses like so fast. He won't even move as I come up to him, okay, because he's just going crazy. All right, so I'm going to pause for just a second. All right, so while I was chattering away, I finished our layout, and you can see that 6x8 panel fit perfectly from our paper pad. And so we have layout number 1 done. Okay, I am going to shift everything, and I'm going to set out layout number 2. Okay, and that's the one we're going to have to cut a little bit. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Michelle. You're so sweet. Thank you, Irene. I'm crazy about my squirrel. I'll keep going in just a second. Okay, so I have the yellow stack is what I'm going to do next, okay? And then for this one, this is where we're going to have to fussy cut these hexagons, okay? And there's only a couple. It's just going to take us a few minutes. It's an easy shape to trace, and I believe I even gave you a starter piece so that you don't have to trace within the die cut. So let me just shift over, get that stuff out. Make sure you can still see this. And remember, you can always go back and rewatch. Sometimes rewatching is better because you can put me on mute and have music on, or you can fast forward through things that you don't necessarily need to hear again. Okay, so you should have in that die cuts pack these little honeycomb pieces, and then I'm going to use this one as a tracer. Okay, so that's what I'm getting ready right now. I'm going to take these away. Put them back here. Okay, so this is going to be layout number 2. All right. Okay, so you should have in your pile these 2 longer strips, okay, that you're going to use to trace and cut. I'm going to ink mine, so I really don't care if there's a little bit of pencil smudge on it. If you don't want to see your pencil lines, then definitely trace it on the back side and cut it out, okay? So, oh, good tip. Okay, Donna said, I hate fussy cutting, so I cut pieces 1.75 by 2 and then held the starter piece up, positioned on it, and clipped the 4 corners. Ta-da, no fussy cutting. Good tip. Very good tip. And I know, I feel like fussy cutting is a love-hate thing. Some people enjoy it. At our last event, you could just hand things to Andrea and she would sit and cut it for you, and she does such a good job with it. So yeah, it just kind of depends. If I'm in the mood for it, it's good. It's also something that I used to always have a little pouch in my car with my small scissors and just things that need to be fussy cut, and I would have it in there. And so when I was waiting in the pickup line at elementary school, even middle school now, it's like you have to get there 15 or 20 minutes early at least and sit there and wait for your kiddo to come out. So that was a good time for me to fussy cut and just kind of decompress a little bit. That was not that pretty of a line there. All right, so we need, we need 3 of each. Okay, so my squirrel, I told you, he's eating the Hershey Kisses. Like, I don't know how he's alive, because I am reading online, you know, chocolate is just as bad for squirrels as it is for dogs. Yeah, so obviously he's doing okay. Yeah, you know, maybe he's diabetic now. I don't know. He's not, you know, he's the same size. He hasn't gotten any fuller. So he also was caught with some Reese's Christmas trees. And those, I actually caught him on the doorbell camera, taking off with those. And he was headed to our neighbor's yard, so I let her know because she has dogs, and I didn't want her dogs to end up with Reese's peanut butter cup trees and get sick. So yeah, yeah. Well, I think it was in January, we had something going on with, I think it was the dryer vent that I needed Adam, he was going to go check on it for me. And we have kind of an easement on the side of our house between ours and the neighbors' houses. So he went out there, checked it, came back in, and he had all these Starbucks gift cards. So apparently the squirrel had been taking the goodie bags to the side of the house, eating the chocolate out of it, and then he left the Starbucks cards behind. So, yeah. Okay, Liz, it is in the, this was with the stack. So on your next stack, right here, from your layouts package in your box, it should be these 2 longer pieces that are there, because we'll use the florals as our layout pieces, and then these are the 2 that you have that are large enough for tracing. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Christy said fussy cutting and hand stitching are things I like to do to craft mindlessly. No thinking. Yep, good. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut these out. So yeah, so apparently my squirrel is smart enough to know that, like, leave the Starbucks cards, don't eat the plastic. But yeah, he has a serious problem. So right now, what's out front is pretzels. I've been able to buy little bags of pretzels in bulk, and he doesn't seem to want the salt. Now, mind you, he still has his corn that's up there on his little picnic table. But from what I've read online is that the coral cutting piece. Amy, can you be more specific? Which one are you talking about? You don't have this one, the bigger, the dot one, that one? If not, I can send you a strip if you didn't get it. I also wonder if hopefully it didn't get mixed up into another part of the pile. And I don't know if we had any like we have a lot left in the 6x8 paper pad, like the extras that we didn't use, that you might have something there. But this was just an extra piece to make sure there was enough space to cut it all. Okay, so I have my 3 coral and pink dot cut. And then I'm going to cut this grid. Yeah, the butterfly one. Okay. So like I said, look at your extras from your paper pad. I can't remember off the top of my head right now what we did or didn't use. No, we used the full sheet. Okay. So you could pick a different paper, or I'm happy to mail you that piece. I'm sorry about that. Like, we really counted and counted and counted again, but when you're doing 102 kits, it's a lot to package and all. And like, that's why we put the die cuts on the white sheet of paper, because we didn't want anything to blow off or slip off. It's just a lot of pieces to be dealing with. And it's a nice, healthy kit. A lot of product in there. Okay, let me flip these over. I've got them all the wrong side. One more. So mine are popped up. Okay, that's a good question. Jamie said, are we going to pop these up or not back the cut file? So I popped them up. You could do it either way. Okay, so I looked at this as kind of, I liked having these little pinwheels that are kind of popped up almost like it's a window. And then these other ones I did, but it would look just fine. It was kind of just to show you, I typically do cut files when I'm teaching. And so this was just a simpler form to show you like just a different way to do it. Okay. So these are all, again, you can kind of see it there. They're all popped up. All right. Good question. Let me cut this last one. Okay. Thanks, Amy. Good. All right. How long have you been running your business? Okay. Well, that's a longer story. So I have been crafting, I mean, since I was a kid, right? One of my first scrapbooks that I made was for my mom. And it was before there was really any stuff. Like, I feel like it was one of those chipboard albums that have the rings on, like the spiral bound on the side. And I had maybe like a few little frames, and, you know, you cut up the photos, and then I think I printed everything else on the printer and, cut it all out. So I've always liked it. I also did, in high school, I was on the yearbook committee, and one of my friends, her dad had a photography business, so we always had pictures, which I think is kind of rare for, you know, I literally asked my parents for a picture of my high school graduation, and I was salutatorian. My parents have one photo of like me blurry, like they have nothing that they took of the day. Okay. So the fact that my friend, that her dad had a photography business, and we were able to get photos a lot, helped. Okay. So, I would say my first like real scrapbook with all the stuff, and, it was my wedding album, right? So that was 2001. So this year, Adam and I will be married 25 years. So that's about how long. And at the time, we were living in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and it was kind of, you know, the heyday of scrapbooking. And I went to a store called AC Moore, and was just in love with all of their stickers and, yeah, all the good stuff, right? I'm going to take the product strip off of the yellow background paper. One of my first big purchases, I remember it was the red original Sizzix, you know, with the handle. And yeah, that was like, I just thought that was the best thing ever, right? And I had some of the alphabets and some of the different stuff that went with that. And I also was introduced to creating keepsakes, the magazine, and I kept watching. That's around the time like Lisa Burnson started doing shows on QVC, and that was when I really got hooked. Okay. In the midst of that, like I said, we were in Allentown. My husband, we moved there for his job. We got married right out of college. We met at the University of Illinois, and then we, got married in 2001, July of 2001. And he was offered a job with Lucent, then it became a Gear, then I don't know, it was like 5 different things, but electrical engineering. Okay, so we were gonna pick up, move. I had not found a job yet. All right, so I'm gonna do the left side first. Move this out of the way. I did round the corners on this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna set everything out first to make sure that it all fits. Okay, we do need these 2 pieces from the paper pad that we pre-cut. So let me go ahead and do this. If you want to know specific, I always use the 3/8 corner rounder. It's just my favorite. There are lots of different there are so many different variations of corner rounders, but that one is the size that I prefer. Okay, so this is the grid paper from the paper pad that we cut. And then there should be also this 6x6 piece. And the green would look good too. I did this just to give a few more patterns on our layout, and it's not too overwhelming, right? But you like to be able to add, I love color. That's why I try to use a pattern and color background. And then I like to add as many patterns as I can. And I think sometimes what I found out through teaching is that the colors and the patterns can be intimidating and we're almost afraid to cut into them or to use them, but you can definitely use them and not have them overwhelm your page. All right, let's do this. So we moved right after we got married in July. Well, it was actually August of 2001. 1 month later, September 11th happened, and we lived 90 minutes from New York City. And we were close enough that, 90 miles, not 90 minutes. We were close enough that the day September 11th happened, they had sent my husband home from work because they didn't know where that last plane was headed. They thought it was headed to Philadelphia. So after that, I was still looking for a job. I had a degree in business and marketing. I couldn't even get a job at the mall, and my husband's company was laying off. He basically got to keep his job because he was brand new and he was making nothing compared to a lot of the older people who had been there, had more seniority. And so, yeah, it was just a rough beginning. And I grew up very small town, Midwest Illinois. It was the first time I had really been really far from home. And that day when everything happened on September 11th, like our phones didn't even work. Like I couldn't get a hold of my family, and it was really scary. So I think had that not happened, maybe we would have stayed in Pennsylvania a lot longer. But at the time we were like, this isn't going to work. We're just too far from everybody and all that. So we'd been there 1 month, mind you. We ended up staying 3.5 years. So in the midst of all that, I saw online that I could add there, Kutztown University, which was right down the road, I could add on my teaching certificate, and I could do it I did it in 1.5 years. And that was with student teaching and everything. So it would just be like piggybacking on my original degree. So I ended up getting certified in elementary education. And right after I finished, let's see, I think I'm trying to see okay. So I turned this so that there's one point going straight up here, and then there's another point going straight down. That's how I had it. And then I'm going to go ahead and use liquid adhesive, and then that will determine where this goes, because I want there to be just the slightest little gap right here. Okay, so let me see if I can get I couldn't find the pin this morning for my liquid adhesive, so I'm gonna hope that it will cooperate. There we go. All right, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna add move this over for just a second. And I just do a few dots here and there. So I ended up teaching kindergarten and preschool. And what we would say is a dot is a lot. So this, same thing applies in scrapbooking, right? We don't want to overwhelm our page, even though it says it dries clear. So I just kind of do a dot at all the important corners. And then I'm going to put this on the corner right here. And my adhesive is Barely Art, but I also have this one laying here, Art Glitter I like. I also use this for smaller things, the Zig. Okay, now I can shift it back over. All right, so now what I'm going to do is glue this down, and then I'm going to treat these as little individual windows and decorate them. Okay, so we ended up, after I got my teaching certificate, we had ended up deciding we wanted to move back home. And so we thought Adam was going to have to quit his job and find something else. Well, he went and talked to his manager, and she's like, you don't have to quit. You can just work remote. And at the time, that was very rare, right? Like we hadn't lived through COVID and all these things where remote work was an option. So we kind of were able to just throw a dart at the map. And we ended up in the Chicago suburbs, right? So then we were only like 2.5 hours from my family and an hour and a half from Adam's family. And it was wonderful. So we lived in first in Bloomingdale, Illinois, then in Aurora, then in Plainfield. And we were there about 13 years. When we were looking at apartments, driving around, it was a very frustrating day. Like we hadn't found, what we wanted in our price range, all of that. And I think we were looking for lunch. We're driving through and I screamed. Okay. And Adam was like, what? And I'm like, oh, it was an Archivers. I had only seen Archivers in the magazine. I'd never actually seen a store. Okay. So, and then moving to the suburbs at that time, within 30 minutes, you could get to like 6 of them. And so that I think really pushed me over the edge. Like, oh, I am hooked. I want to do this. This is amazing. So yeah, that's just one of those moments that you remember like, oh my gosh, it's a real one. It's right there. So that's what really got me hooked on like the latest and greatest product and all that. And I liked going and just being able to escape and sit there during the day and crop. I had also gotten a job in Naperville as a preschool teacher then. So I was using, at Archivers, I was using their giant die cut machines. So yeah, it's all kind of interconnected. So while I was a teacher, I made albums for all my kids, by the way, all of my students, little mini albums. But while I was a teacher, this was the heyday of scrapbooking. And at our school, it was a church, and they would have a crop in October for breast cancer support and awareness. And at the time, their crop, gosh, it took 2 huge rooms. So several hundred women. It was a really big deal. Okay. So after that, I decided, oh, we could do this at our own church that I went to. So we started doing these one-day crafting events, and I would design page kits to give out as our goodie bag. Like when you walk in the door, you got to pick a page kit, and that was part of your goodie bag, and then you went and cropped all day. From there, so that was probably like, I didn't have children yet, so it was probably like 2005 maybe. From there, I had people asking me for my kits, if I would make them or, consider selling them or teaching, that kind of thing. And I was busy. I didn't really have the time. I didn't really want to research the business piece, all of it. I then had the opportunity to be a helper, a teaching assistant at CKU, which was held, I think it was Oak Brook when I did it, CKU Album. And a lot of you may know this story. So I was randomly paired up with this brand new company called Glue Arts, and they were there to sell their adhesive. So it was an industrial strength adhesive, and it was all made in the USA. And they really were only they were not in the crafting business, okay? They were not in the crafting world. They had been in the education world and then just in a lot of industrial things, okay? So what they found out was that women were taking a gift basket from Bath & Body Works and peeling the blob of glue that connected the lotion to like a plastic insert in the bottom. So you'd have like 3 bottles of Bath & Body Works product stuck to this kind of, plexi, like plastic insert. Okay. And then that would hold it all in the basket. So the women were peeling off those round blobs of glue and had basically kind of overwhelmed the company and said, we need this for our crafting. All right. At the time, the main competition was Glue Dots. Right. So they The idea with CKU album was that it was a huge ballroom, and it was Heidi Swapp and Becky Higgins and Stacy Julian and Tim Holtz, like everybody you could imagine. They all had a table, all right? And you would go from table to table and create a page for this album. So I meet the Glue Arts team. The one designer showed me that we were going to make a recipe page. She went through it really quickly with me. And then, then the ladies move on and go make their next page, right? So it's just a constant shuffling of people. And you know how we can be, right? Like we want to just make it, move on because we want to see all this. We were right next to Becky Higgins. I can't remember who was on our right side. So yeah, and then there were two men in the booth who were the owners. Jim was like the CEO of Glue Arts, and then Richard was like the marketing director. And they were in full suits, okay? So they thought they were going to give a sales pitch. The doors open, and it is like, like when they release like the running of the bulls, but like a Black Friday situation, like these women come in running full steam, and they're running at our table and, come on. And so we're pounding it out. They've got to make the page in maybe like 3 minutes or less. Look back, because I'm running out of adhesive, which is the main thing we're trying to sell. And Jim and Richard are like taking their jackets off, their ties are off. We get a lunch break and they're like, "You're so good at this. Why?" And I said, "Well, I teach preschool and I only have 3 minutes to get my point across. So this is, the exact same settings. Perfect." I'm going to pause for a second so I can get these pieces. So this is a sticker right here, but then some of these others are actual die cuts. Okay, so I at least want to find these pinwheels and then add these 2 stickers on so that this part is complete. So let me just pause and grab it. Okay. All right, so for the stickers, I need to add this strawberry, which is right here under Big Smiles. Okay, and then I also need to add this butterfly, which is right above Big Smiles. Works well. All right, and then flipping it over, we're going to use this border sticker right here. And what I did was I trimmed it and, tucked a little bit underneath, and then I did the same on the other side. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4 scallops and a half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is my little half here. That's where I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to tuck it underneath. And it also helps because when you trim the border sticker like this, I don't know if you've noticed, but most companies, their border sticker isn't a true 12 by 12 or a 12-inch length. And it drives me crazy when I want it to go to the edge. So a lot of times I cut it in the middle, hide something there, and then that way it can extend, okay? So this is one piece of it. The other piece is gonna go on the other side of the layout, all right? My photos here, this is a 6 by 4, and this is a 4 by 4. So I'm gonna go ahead, ink, and add this. Right, Christy? Yeah, that's the heyday, right? I miss it too. I miss just having the magazines. I loved having a magazine, especially on the plane. I would save up my magazines so that I would read them when we travel or read them by the pool. Okay, so there is my 6 by 4, and let me cut a 4 by 4 really quick. So after that day, after getting to work the make and take with Glue Arts, they asked me to return. They actually asked if I could start going to CHA, is what it was called at the time. Now it's Creativation. They asked if I could start doing their shows with them because they really had no clue what the business was. They were used to going to these big events and talking logistics about adhesive, which the women didn't care. They just cared that it stuck it down and it was safe. And that was the other thing. They kept coming up while we were demoing and they're like, you're using way too much. You only need a little bit here and here. And I'm like, no, we need full coverage. Like, you can't. So there were just things that they just didn't understand, right, in the scrapbooking, crafting world. So I was able to keep teaching preschool full time. And then when events would come up, then I would go. Like, so I would go to Anaheim. I would go to, it was usually in Chicago. Then it switched to Florida for the summer show. We did a couple huge events like with Bo Bunny and coordinations. And so they would ask me to prep things. And that's how I got my first Cricut. That Cricut was brand new. And they sent me my first machine. And then I would get more things that they would send me, like cartridges, before they were released. So I was very fortunate. And I had an endless supply of adhesive. And so as Glue Arts grew, they had their Glue Arts Glue Glider Pro was their award winner, which was kind of like this. And then they were in Hobby Lobby, and they were in, some different online stores and all that. So basically, I think it was God. I was in the right place at the right time, and it all kind of came together, and I learned a lot about the industry from that. And I got a taste of it, like the other side of it, this side, the business side, and I loved it. So it was all a really nice exposure to that. So I'm going to add this sticker. I do have it popped up. So from there, I was trying to, I had one child. I had Lauren. I was still teaching. And then after Maddie was born, I stayed home. And part of it was like I was making no money at the end of the day with teaching and childcare. And then Maddie also needed to do OT a couple times a week. And it was just easier if I stayed home. And so I was trying to figure out some way to keep doing what I love doing, which was playing with paper, right? So I had looked at Creative Memories. It wasn't really my style. I love their tools, don't get me wrong, but the other stuff just wasn't really my style. I wasn't really a stamper. And at the time, my neighbor was a Stampin' Up! Person, so I would just go to her house once a month and make cards. And so I stumbled across this new company called MemoryWorks, which was Amber and Kevin from Simple Stories. I didn't know that at the time, but through MemoryWorks, I would buy their different paper releases. And then once a month at my house, I would have women come over, and we called it a kit crop. And they would choose anywhere between 4 and 8 kits, sit there and make it, and they would leave with finished layouts. And it was fun. It was a way to, have community. It was a way for me to be creative, make a little money, connect. And then all of my hostess perks I used as prizes to be able to give to them when they came over. And then I was still running large events at our church too. So that was all kind of, I don't know, I guess each step of the way was kind of me learning, different pieces of the industry. Right after Noelle was born in 2014, and she was a NICU baby. And 2 weeks later, after we got her home, my husband lost his job. And we went about 6 months, very uncertain, not knowing where we were going to end up. And it was 2014 at Thanksgiving that he got a job offer, and we had 1 weekend to fly to Colorado and buy a house. And it was a whirlwind. It happened so fast. I mean, just so much about that time was just, I don't know how we did it. Because we moved here and didn't know a soul. And he had worked from home for 13 years, and then all of a sudden he's gone every day in the office, and I had a baby and 2 other young kids. And yeah, it was just huge adjustment. But we did it. And after I finally felt a little bit settled, I started designing kits for one store here, and then eventually switched to a different store here. And then in 2021, right after the COVID mess, some things happened, and it was time for me to just be on my own, not be a subcontractor, not be really working for anyone else. It was time to be brave, get my LLC, do the real business thing. So I've found these pinwheels that were in the bits and pieces pack. Okay, I cut the stem down, and then it's just going to go right here. Okay, so it's up above, and then I'm just going to use a little dot of liquid adhesive. Hold it there for just a second and keep that. I pulled the wrong pinwheel. I got to get the other one. This one's the dot one. I've got to find the... Okay, so then I've got my pinwheels here. Let's find this other one. Here it is. Yep. Okay, same thing. I'm going to do the foam square. And then I'll do a little bit of adhesive, liquid adhesive, just to hold that stick in place. And hold it there for just a second. Okay, so then all I'm missing on this one are a few florals. So this one is a die cut. Let me find that. Die cut. I don't remember. Die cut. Die cut. Okay, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4 die cuts that I'm missing here. So I was working at a store here. Initially, it was called NoCo Crop Stop. It was a co-op of women running the store, and I was just helping with their events and designing kits. And then during COVID, you know, everything blew up. The world blew up. Everything changed, and we were really trying hard to figure out how we managed to pay for a building and keep the doors open when nobody's allowed to come in. And okay, I found that one. Looking for a pink. Is that it? Okay, this little pink. No, that's not the same one. So we had done a few virtual events, you know, and it was going well. Well, then our landlord had let us know that he was not going to renew the lease. Okay. And we had offered to buy our unit. That I'm going to keep this one here for now. That's not the right piece, but it's close enough. So we had offered to buy, we were in a building with 4 units. Okay. So there was an interior design space that held 2, they had 2 units. Then we were the scrapbook store in the middle, NoCo Crop Stop. And then on the other side, it was a bank with a drive up, okay? And he had told everyone, no, he wasn't renewing the lease. And the bank next door had also, they weren't a bank, they were, I don't know, like a credit, I don't know. Something financial. He had told them no, too, that he wasn't going to sell it, okay? Then I'm at a birthday party. This is all in a matter of 1 week. I'm at a birthday party, my neighbor's house, and my neighbor is a veterinary surgeon, and he's like, hey, how's the scrapbook business going? Are you guys doing okay? And like, yeah, we're trying to figure out what we're doing, in the future and all that. And he's like, I'd love to come see it sometime. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me know. He's like, well, when do you work again? And I said, I work tomorrow. He shows up the next day with his realtor. He was buying the building. Okay. So then I'm in the middle, right? That I know that, yeah, he's buying it for his practice. And the owner had said no to each of us because he wanted to sell the building as one huge thing. So he and I had worked out a deal where I was going to buy the end unit and he was going to take all the rest. And I had put money down. I had met with my accountant, all these things, right? I was going to open a store, which had been my dream, to open a brick and mortar store. Everything was going well. And my husband and I went on an anniversary trip to Disney. We are huge Disney fans. And while we were gone, the men all had a meeting without me. And I get back and they're like, well, guess what? The unit you picked is nicer than anybody else's. I'm like, I knew. But it just had some features that it had a long time ago. It was built to be a Qdoba, so it had a grease pit, it had better electrical. There were just a lot of things. So basically, while I was gone on my trip, they removed me from the equation. I was devastated. Devastated because I had been planning and was going to open the store and had, like I said, I had done all this, a lot. Honestly, probably the best thing that ever happened to me, but at the time it hurt so bad. Okay, so I have all of my pieces here. I just need my enamel dots. How are we doing on the left side? Christy, I would go to my local scrapbook store every Friday night for their weekly crop. Hi, Deborah. That was a lifeline for me when my husband, I bet, when my husband was deployed. Yep. This is the modern day quilting bee, right? Like the scrapbooking and when we want to be together, and even if it's online like this, there's something to be said for community, and especially like-minded community. And that doesn't mean we all agree on every single thing, but we agree on paper, right? Like we all agree on that, and that's okay. All right, I'm gonna move this aside and I'm gonna pull the right page. Deborah, if you're still on, did your box arrive? We're hoping it did, but Deborah's in Alaska and the postal service is just not very speedy going to Alaska. Let's put it that way. All right. Okay, so we are going to start on this right side of our page. Same idea with the little honeycomb at the top. We're going to do a pinwheel and pop up 2 paper pieces. And then we're going to add this other half of our border down here. Okay. I'm hoping it's okay if I shift over. So I'm going to cover this up. Let me see. We're doing okay on time. All right, so we have our left background page and our large floral piece. And then this one. There should be, okay. All right. Thanks, Deborah. Yeah, you can reach out for, to us, and it's going to be saved here. We've already talked about that today. And I check your messages because I sent you a bingo card so you can still play tonight. Okay, so we've got our large piece. This one is like a 4x4 square. And then we're going to end up with this smaller honeycomb up in the top. Okay, I need to round corners. All right, so in the midst of a lot of ugly crying, a lot of ugly tears over not getting a building space and, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I had opened up my LLC, Lindsay's Layouts LLC. I officially launched my Etsy store. That was March of 22, I think, when I did that. Opened accounts with, all these amazing companies. And then just really started putting myself out there to teach, to, just be a part of this world. But yet I still had the time and luxury to be able to volunteer at my kids' school, to be able to run the book fair every year. This is my first year in I don't know how long because I don't have an elementary kiddo, so I didn't run the book fair. Help run Vacation Bible School at our church. And then, running this business. So what I didn't know then is that we would go through, a major medical thing with my daughter. There's no way I could have continued running a business that wasn't inside my home. So we this was all like maybe end of 2022. Adam's dad has MS. He has been wheelchair bound for the last 10 years or so. And he hasn't been able to really come see us. And, you know, his mobility is limited, and some things changed with Colorado and zoning and different things. And I was kind of looking in our backyard, looking at our house, and I just said to him, like, your dad is missing so much. We need to find a way to make our house accessible so he has somewhere he can go visit. Okay. Because at this point, like, he can't stay, you know, he needs a lift. He can't stay in a hotel. He has a motorized wheelchair, which, yeah, it's just a lot of hurdles. And he was missing so much. So enter in our 2-year renovation remodel, which I would never live through again, but it's okay. Excuse me. Cough drop number 3. We're doing this. Okay, good. Deborah got that. All right, awesome. So we met with contractors, and really all we thought we were going to do was retrofit our basement. We thought we were going to add an elevator, which is not easy. Like, I say it like, oh, add an elevator. Yeah. We thought we were going to add an elevator, and then my business was kind of like leaking out all over the house. And so I just wanted one larger space in the unfinished area. So we met with the team, and their architects actually, excuse me, they followed me for an entire day. They measured every square inch of our house that I was using in some form for what I was doing, right? Like the paper crafting, the assembling, the kits, all of that. And then we sat down and met, and sorry, let me get another drink. Okay. We had our meeting, and they came back and they said, you're using 900 square feet of your house for your business. I'm like, wow, that's great, because I've actually been looking for a building that's 900 square feet. So at least I know I'm in the right ballpark. Most of the buildings I was looking at in Fort Collins were the right size. They were dirt floor, no HVAC installed, no bathroom. And they were starting at $1 million. Okay. So you're looking at least $2 million just to get up and going. So then after we sit down with them, they present us with this plan of building a handicap accessible in-law suite in our backyard, which we did. And then in our basement, removing the spare bedroom and bathroom and giving me a work area that is roughly what I need for shipping, for designing, for all of it. Again, 2 really horrible years that I don't know that I would ever recommend living through again, but I'm incredibly blessed, and I'm in this space, and it's allowed my business to keep going and growing when I likely would have had to shut down completely if I had been in a different space. And with the economy now and just the way even paper companies are struggling, there's just no way. So it's one of those things where you look back now and you're like, oh, that's why all this happened, right? At the time, no, it was horrible. And even the renovations, horrible. And we had just gotten through, most of the renovating when Lauren got sick. And I remember crying to our neurologist that day. When Lauren had a headache, and it basically was almost like a left-sided stroke. And they had blown it off as a migraine, and she ended up hospitalized and basically relearning to walk and do a lot of things. But I remember crying to our neurologist that day, and I'm like, we just built a handicap accessible building in our backyard. I don't want it to be for my kid. And he was kind of quiet, and he's like, I don't want it to be either. Like, we're going to fight and get her taken care of. So yeah, that doesn't mean that every day is happy and wonderful, and I still worry a lot. You know, and 99-cent sheets of paper are, you have to buy a lot to pay the bills, right? But I'm really loving what I'm doing. I love teaching. I love meeting all of you. I love, you know, being able to do this. And it really is my therapy. Like really, really is. And I'm a big believer in you have to document the good and the bad. So it's I feel like it's a gift and also a burden that we are the memory keepers, because my family, they love looking at my albums. You know, they make fun of me for all my stuff and papers and all of that. But for a funeral, guess who they want? They want me to do all the photos, right? They want me to relive and do that. Or for, you know, some of these other things. And it's like, that's an honor. But it's also heavy too, right? So that's just something that we get doing this wonderful hobby. All right. While I was giving you my therapy session here, I die cut, or I mean, I paper cut. I've got a 3x3 photo, a 3x4 photo, and a 4x4 photo. And then I have the card that we cut earlier. Okay, then I'm also going to incorporate some foam stickers on this side, and that's our title, the Hello Sunshine, and then this one is foam also. I don't think, yeah, none of these were foam over here, so it was just on this page. Okay, let me get those, and then we'll also end up adding that border sticker and then a sticker on here. I love the Simple Stories foam stickers, but let me tell you, they are not forgiving. Okay, so you've got to know, put it down with confidence, because if you try to pull it back up, it is gonna tear. So yes, Peggy, everything happens for a reason. 100%. Yep. Even if we don't get it at the time. Yep. Sometimes we don't agree with the plan. Yep. I agree, Deborah. Yes, Tammy, allergies. Oh my goodness. I think it's because, you know, it's been so dry, so dusty. Here in Fort Collins, we also had a fire on, was that Thursday? It was scary. Like they were evacuating. It was very close. So we've had terrible air quality, but it may rain all week next week. And I couldn't be happier. Like I want to go do every rain dance possible because we need the rain so bad. We depend on it for our water supply, and we've had nothing. I mean, just nothing. Last Friday, we had beautiful, beautiful, heavy, wet snow, but then it was gone in like an hour. So that's not enough to get us back to where we need to be. All right, so I'm actually going to do this border first. And again, it's a half a scallop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 scallops and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I can use that as kind of a line to hold up my title. Right? It's kind of that anchor point that's like, okay, there we go. Right? And then I've got the word sunshine right here. Okay, and then hello is on the other page where I'm going to put that flower just so I know spacing wise. So that is in our bits and pieces. Again, it could be my left-handedness, or maybe, you know, maybe I have a dyslexic brain. I'm not sure, but I try to work. I'll put things on backwards basically to make sure it all then fits correctly, like with spacing and all that. Okay, so this one, I'm going to show you. This one is actually 3 die cuts. I'm peeling this back a little bit. Hopefully you can see. Okay, so it's the lemon basket, but then it's this flower and then a blue flower behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that for right now. I probably had my hands on it and didn't realize it. That's the lemon basket because I can see the brown. I'm looking for this flower cluster. And if you, we're going to use the camera too. If you were not here earlier, I said that I did this whole design, because the packaging had changed for Simple Stories, I didn't even open the floral bits. And I had them. Normally I would go, I don't know why, but I mean, I had so many pieces with this new configuration of the bits and pieces that I didn't need to use it. So you just get that as a great bonus. Nope, that's a sticker. Okay, that's the blue that's gonna tuck behind the lemons. See, I don't know if Tracy's watching right now, but I should have had my pieces sorted. But it's not nearly as many as Doodlebug. Maybe it's a sticker. Yes, it is. Okay, that's all right. I found the other pieces I needed. Okay. It is. Thank you, Amanda. Yes. Yep. Allergies. Yep. So windy. Yes. Amy, same for us in Utah. Yep. Yeah, no, we need it. We need it so bad. Thank you, Bonnie. Yes, thank you. You guys keep me in line. This one's a sticker too. I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. This is the Big Smiles side. I'm going to stick it right here. And then here is our flower right here. So present day, I release card kits and page kits. I try to do a release once a month or every other month. It's honestly going to shift to every other month because I've been asked to teach so much more, which I love, because as much as I love having this capability to do, oh, Tracy's on there. Hi, Tracy. As much as I love the capability to do this virtually and still connect with you, I love in person so much more, because I feed off your energy and I can tell exactly where you're at, and I just love it. So I've had to pull back on my kits just a little bit, but I have an Etsy store. And then I've added some things for the sale this weekend, which I might not have any to release next week because you ladies have been buying kits. Thank you. And let's see, my next event is with Paige Evans and Andrea Lake, and it's here in Denver, and it's called Crafted Moments. It's Paige's new collection with Pink Fresh. And so for that event, I am a pop-up shop in the back. So I help the ladies if they cut a piece of paper wrong. I'm in the back, with product, with adhesive, whatever they need. And then I'm also teaching a bonus mini class on Sunday for that event. And then my focus shifts to my daughter because we are going to be moving her in so far away. And I'm not quite sure what my fall is going to look like, other than I will be at She Loves Color. And I can't wait to see whatever Tracy comes up with, because I love buying her kits as much as you guys do. So, yay, Janet's coming. Deborah's coming. Awesome. Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's because it's in July, it's a smaller group this time. We still prep for 125 people because you can do it virtually or in person, but so many people travel in the summer that it's going to be a smaller in-person group, which is kind of nice sometimes because then you really get to talk to people and get to know them. And yeah, so those are my events for this year. And then Tracy might have a little more info later for you about if there's anything else. Okay, so I'm going to add my lemon crate here at the bottom. Christy will be at She Loves Color. Awesome. Yes, if you're at She Loves Color, please come give me a hug. I just love fall in the Midwest, right? Growing up in Illinois, allergies there are crazy too. And there's not a whole lot of, I love Illinois, my family's there, but I will say nothing compares to fall in the Midwest. I love going back that time of year. But this year, She Loves Color is over Halloween. So that's going to be a very interesting, different time. Okay, virtual. Christy's doing virtual. Teresa, okay, you'll be at SLC. Good. Now, yeah. Oh, the new grandbaby. Yes, Christy. Oh, so sweet. She's posted the best pictures. Christy, okay, and then Deborah, she'll be at She Loves Color too. Awesome. Yeah, for me, I feel like She Loves Color is like it's the family or the class reunion where you actually want to see everybody, right? Like you're excited to go, and it's just such a special feeling. All right, let me add a little. Oh, come on. I was complimenting my adhesive earlier, and then I should have left it upside down. Tuck this one. Okay, so I have my little cluster there. I think the only thing I'm missing, enamel dots, and then one more pinwheel, which I bet is a sticker. Yay, Sally! Which one, Liz? I think She Loves Color always sells out. Excuse me, but they do offer it like in a box. Paige's event is, I don't think we were sold out yet. I think we're down to like 10 like boxes or seats. Okay, so I got that. And then I absolutely love their enamel dots, especially the ones with the glitter in it, but they've come a long way. They're just so pretty. It's what all of our chunky brads used to be, right? To be able to put these on and just give it that little bit of jewelry at the end. Okay. 2 layouts. 2 layouts done. We doing all right? Yes. So Christy said it's my mini vacation to go to a real fall in Wisconsin. It's a nice escape from Florida. I bet. Well, and it's just beautiful. It's such a, and then of course, if you've talked to me, you know, like I have to go I go to Portillo's, I go to Lil Malnati's, I get all the Chicago food that I miss living here. All right. So we are going to move on to layout 3, which will go together pretty quickly. And then I would like to touch on, we'll talk about layout 4 and possibly try to do a little bit of it, just so I can show you the twine. And then the other ones are very, very easy to assemble. And I'll go through a couple tips with each of those, but they should be very quick for you to put together, but we will not finish them today because we'll have a lunch break. All right, so let's reset. All right, so your next stack is this, it's actually cat paper, but it's this teal gingham. And then it should have these pieces on it. Just making sure nobody panics. Okay. I call this the bicycle page, right? Because I just love all the bicycles, and yeah, there are 4 on there. All right, so I'm just gonna take those product strips off the top, and I'll go ahead and cut my photo mats, and then we will get rocking and rolling on this one. So Lauren is en route to New York. Maddie was frustrated with me because she does a lot of gaming with her friends, and there was some gaming event this morning at 10 a.m. and I had said please stay off the Wi-Fi because her streaming the games takes a lot of bandwidth. And then my youngest, Noelle, is going to a birthday party this afternoon, so I had left Post-its, and then I hung the schedule on the fridge so that everybody knew what they could and couldn't touch this morning. All right, so for this one, we're gonna have one 4x6, and then the rest of these are 4x3. And this is a situation where on the Project Life app, I would print 2 photos on my 4x6. So let me just get these done. one 4x6. And I need one more 3x4. All right. And then this die cut circle should have been in your pack with the other, with the twine and the die cuts in it. I'll grab it in just a second. So we're gonna need this larger dot piece. Okay, you may have this with your thing, but we did cut it from the paper pad too, so that might just be an extra. We did cut one of these in half from the paper pad. And then my 4x6, move these out of here. Okay, so from this pack, I have my circle. And then I need the bicycle card that we cut earlier. And I think that's it. So then we're gonna have die cuts and foam stickers. Okay, so I'm gonna start inking. I love adding circles to my pages anytime I can. Okay, so get all these inked and then we'll be ready to adhere. And with this one, what I was trying to do was, when you have this, I made this big photo block here, right? This is kind of still your main feature photo. And then by anchoring either side with the floral, it kind of just pulls the whole thing together, right? Like, because you have these two pieces that are mirroring each other. I like having the title with the feature photo. Here's why. Not everybody uses the same kind of album, right? Some people use the binder albums. That's what I use. Some people use the post bound still. Some people use the strap hinge. Like, there's a lot of different types of albums, right? So in my albums, in a binder album, they don't come together like this. The pages don't, right? There's a huge gap. So for most of my layouts, I would say almost all, I try to make it that if you wanted this to be a standalone page, it could be, right? I don't want to split my title across. I try to keep it to one side or the other. This one, it could still be a standalone page, just like that, and add other words to it. But that's kind of what I'm thinking when I design, is that you won't ever see me splitting a photo or words across a page. I just don't. Maybe my brain just can't handle that. All right, finish these last ones up. Okay, so what is everybody watching? I know right now if you're on here, you're watching me, but like TV, or movies, what are you watching right now? I will tell you that I am secretly so over the top excited for Devil Wears Prada 2. That's one of the movies I can put on while I'm crafting the first one and just listen, because it's one of my favorites and I had read the book too, so I'm really hoping it doesn't disappoint. All right, so the bicycle card is going to be popped up, and then I'm going to start sticking things down. Make sure you can still see this. Carrie, she is too. What ink? I am using Quick Quotes Powder Puff ink, and it's Feather Gray. And I think you could, I said earlier, you could definitely use aqua or pink or black. Inking is one of those things where once you start, you're just addicted. And I just like having that edge. All All right, so this I just centered vertically. Then I'm going to add my floral strip. Okay, and then try to figure out where I want to put this. Circle is going to go right here. Teresa, okay, body. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Lainey Wilson on Netflix. Oh, I'll have to look at that. Hallmark Channel, yeah. So Hallmark, I definitely watch it, you know, the Christmas movies. And I recorded a lot. I DVR'd them so that I could watch them into January too, because I was still designing Christmas page kits at the time. And I just needed to still be in the holiday spirit to keep playing with Christmas paper. I think the holidays, a lot happens. And so I want to just put it away and be done. I think there's so much anticipation of Christmas, and I always do an album for myself, you know, like a not necessarily a December documented, but it, you know, like, I mean, kind of. I don't do a photo every single day because we have so many times in December where multiple events happen in one day, so it's okay if I skip other days. Okay, so I have these two on. So you could pop the circle. The only reason I didn't is because these are foam stickers and then it would be double popped. If you want it to kind of stand out from this underneath, the inking helps to be able to see that edge, but that was why I didn't. Normally I, you know, pop up as much as I possibly can. So yeah, good question. All right, so let's do... Okay, so this first tab here says all smiles and sunshine. It's right in the middle of these stickers. I love putting these above photos or cards and then making it look like a little tab. And then there's a blue sticker next to it, and that is, nope, too big. Let me find my other foam sheet here. Here it is. Okay, so it's this tiny one next to the word sunny. Goes right here. Okay, then we have the best memories and a butterfly. That's the butterfly right there. This one, oh, sticker. All right, so this one is popped up. Okay, I'm not gonna stick it down yet because I want to make sure. Yep. Okay, so that word memories is just going to kind of hug the top of this bicycle card. And then I'll peel all these guys off, all those backing. Okay, and then we've got the best. Yep. And then our butterfly right there. And then I'm going to add some pink enamel dots. All right, we're almost getting to noon in Colorado time. Is everybody ready for lunch, or have you had lunch? Okay. Speaking of the Hallmark Channel, fun fact, Leanne Rimes' daddy has been going hunting with my husband. What? Janet? I told him that I was doing my audition for him, that I thought I could out sing LeAnn Rimes. He laughed. And said I had a story to tell anyone that would listen all week. Oh, that is hilarious. Janet has the best stories. I love doing. Janet and I met because of She Loves Color and crafting, like the second year of She Loves Color, because the first year sold out. But her stories are just, oh my goodness. How do you know? How is your husband going with LeAnn Rimes' dad? What? Oh, it's just crazy. All right, so we got everything done at the top here. The flowers right here are a foam sticker. It's under the sunny days right here. And then we're gonna add that bicycle and shift to the other side. I'll go ahead and pull this one because I know, look at all, I've got foam squares everywhere. I should count them for Becca because she questioned when I said I'd have hundreds on the floor. All right, so for this one, I did pop it up. Put them on the wheels here. Okay. All right. It's a small world. Sorry, Liz, the best is popped up. Deborah, it's 9:40 Alaska time. Well, yeah, you're a lot earlier, but so you might have missed. I got up at 4 a.m. today, so my schedule is just off. My body is like, what time is it? What's going on? All right. Hopefully everybody's plugging along, and then we're going to end up shifting over to our right page. Okay. It is a small world. And LeAnn Rimes is on, is it 911 Nashville? I think she's on that show. Because I'll have that on sometimes my kids laugh at me. When I'm working or crafting, I do 911 Nashville, and then I like a lot of the like serial killer or like the different documentaries. That's what I have on when I'm working, or Gilmore Girls, right? That's the other end of the spectrum, Gilmore Girls. So, oh, thank you, Lori. All right, so we're gonna do our right page. Okay, and for that, we do need some of the cards we cut. We've got our journal card here and the bicycle. And the only other thing you want to be mindful of is that I did tuck the sun underneath these two papers. So if you do a lot of adhesive edge to edge, you want to have that in place so that you can get it tucked in there. Let me find the sun and the clouds before I start. Whoops. Nope. I guess there's a small and a big cloud. All right. So it's the larger of the bits and pieces. And then I'm just going to ink this. This is actually a coral color vibe. Okay, other people are, yeah, 911 Nashville. It's a good cast. You know, Deborah, I haven't watched the NCIS. Maybe that could be a new thing that I latch on to. I do some of the Law and Orders. It just depends. Sometimes when I have all my machines going, I don't, I have it on, but I can't even listen to it. I'm not sure why I do that to myself, because I have 4 Cricuts, and so there are certain days where all 4 need to run, and it is noisy, really noisy. Okay, and then for this one again, 4 of the photos. You could always go smaller on the photos and make them squares and probably fit quite a bit more. Yeah, I'm not sure what my lunch break is going to be. We're doing really good. 11:45, so we've got until 12:30, I think, right? Until 12:30 lunch break. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then, of course, tonight we have bingo. I'm excited to make Tracy's album. That's another thing I want to know, and maybe you'll comment during Tracy's class too, is what are you using her album, like what pictures are you going to put in it? Because it's so cute, and I just kind of want to know, like, are you using it for a theme? Like, what are you thinking? Okay, how did I lose the bicycle card when I literally had it right here? Was it stuck to my schedule? No. Which butterfly, Amy? Was it on this page is a foam butterfly right here. This page is not. This one is a die cut right here. The only foam on here is So Fun and then two little hearts that are kind of that coral color. Okay, it'll turn up in a minute. So what I was starting to say is this is Color Vibe, the coral color. It's Simple Stories version of their cardstock, and I love it because one side is dot and one side is regular. And they, at least for us, in their catalogs, they always tell you what is the matching color vibe. But for years, I loved the Bo Bunny double dot cardstock. It was like my absolute favorite. And now it really doesn't, well, it doesn't exist anymore. So I feel like this has been the perfect replacement. And they just have such a great variety of colors, and it's nice and thick. Nice sheet of paper. So I use, and that's what I used for the strawberry and also for those honeycombs that we did on the previous page. I know if you're lucky enough to have a scrapbook store close to you, a lot of them sell single sheets now, which is nice. And I think scrapbook.com has single sheets. I am going to give this one a little bit of ink, and I'm going to pop it up, but not yet. Let me finish. I get going, I get excited, and I'm like, I'm just going to put it all down, and yeah, not yet. All right. So I basically am just leaving kind of the same edge, like border all the way around. I don't know, I guess it's 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, it's right at 1/4. And I kind of just eyeball it. Like when I do the square grids, like on one of the bonus layouts, on those I tend to mark like the center point and then work my way out so that I can keep all of the margins lined up. But for this one, especially the dots kind of help you too to see if your spacing is even or not. Okay, so there's one column. No idea where the bike card is. It's probably like stuck to me. I don't know. It'll turn up, so I'm just gonna, if you're watching this later, a bicycle card goes there and I don't know what I just did with it. Okay, so lots of space for photos on this one. All right, and then I'm gonna add the bicycle down here with foam squares. And then I will add those foam stickers. Did anyone make their tea or eat any of their snacks yet? I'm excited to make tea later and dip those little Biscoff cookies in there. All right, so we need So Fun, which is on this one, right above the Good Times. And then the hearts. So here's a heart right here. Let me go ahead and add my cloud and then a heart over here. And the only thing I'm missing then, well, these on the bicycle, is the enamel dots. The bicycle will turn up. I just not while I'm on screen. Okay, and then for this one, these are both bits and pieces. And so let me get my tray. There are so many cute pieces that you'll still have left at the end. That's why I'm like when I start working on graduation pages, I'm like, oh, I've got all these great pieces for Lauren's graduation party. So because we're having it at her friend Reagan's house, which is nice, we're doing it the week before graduation. So that way on the actual graduation day, she can go to all of her other friends' parties, because I don't even know how many invites we have right now. It's just crazy. So we're doing hers the weekend before, and oh, there it is. Found it. It was stuck to the bottom of my die cuts tray. Okay. Whew. I never know these days, what all the perimenopause and hormones and all that. I never trust myself anymore. And that's why I write Post-its on everything, because I'm like, I'll remember. And then later I'm like, Lindsay, you will not remember. You need to write it down, because you will not. Your life is busy and your brain has too many tabs open, and yeah. Anyway, the graduation party. The two girls, Lauren has done dance and choir she's danced since she was 3. She's done choir since 6th grade, so 6 years. And then Reagan, her friend, has done drama, and she's in, oh gosh, so many clubs. And then we both have people from church too that we're inviting. So I think together the girls have invited like 150 people. Okay. And then she was pushing me to invite people she gave me a number. I had to invite this many people. I'm like, but we are ending the party with her friend Byron. And Byron is a world champion baton twirler. Okay. And he's really good, number one. Number two, he's really, really popular. Like, everybody has embraced it. They think he's really cool for doing it. And I'm like, good for them. Like, because I feel like when I was in high school, he probably would have really gotten made fun of. And he's the sweetest kid. So they wrote him a contract, which is really, really, really funny. Asking him to please dress in theme, because it's this lemon theme, which I don't know what that means, a yellow costume. But he also, with his batons, he can do flames. And so like for the homecoming game, he was one of the performers at halftime. And so they've requested the flames for the end of their graduation party, which I'm not sure is the best idea given the fire situation in Colorado right now. But yeah, that's going to be the grand finale of their graduation, is to watch Byron the Baton Twirler. And he's actually going to college for it. Like he's won all of the baton championships in the US, and then he went and competed in Japan. And I think in Japan he got like 7th or 8th place in the world. Like it's incredible. So, all right, let's see. Okay, Ashley's an eyeballer. Yes. I took the wafer cookies to work yesterday. The wafer cookies are good. That was Sam's Club. Okay, those, yeah. And they didn't have them in store. I kept checking, and so I ordered them online, and I mean, it was a huge amount, but you get a lot in the container. That my mailman, I may order more so that my delivery people get it, and hopefully my squirrel doesn't decide he likes it. Okay, that is our third double page spread. So we're going to go over the bonus layouts and then we're going to wrap up. So if you've been able to hopefully stay with me, good job, because you've got 3 double pages done. And now you can add your photos. So, you know, I am lucky because we have Sam's and we have Costco here in town. But I rarely go, because if I go, I get in trouble because I like the clothing and the books and the like all the other stuff. Whereas when I order online, like Instacart or pickup, then I just stick to my list, right? Like the toilet paper and sour cream, you know, the basics. But I mean, it's fun. It's fun to go in and be distracted. I just spend a lot more if I do that. But ordering Sam's Club is great. Just to, you know, be able to get things shipped and taken care of. Okay, let me pull out the next one that we're going to do with the tags. All right, so I'm going to shift these over. Okay, so let me find my sample. Grab a drink really quick. All right. I had so much fun with this one. I'm not usually a ribbon twine person, but this is really fun. It's a really fun technique to do. Now, what I said earlier is do not stack. I stacked all the tags up and did one hole punch, right? Because I was just trying to get on with my day. Don't do that because they don't line up. And you can see some of my holes are really wonky on my sample. But once you have the holes punched, then you're literally just kind of weaving this in and just adding glue to keep it in place to give it this kind of free flow look. And the one thing that I repeat over and over on my instructions, and I'm going to say it here too, is when you put adhesive on, do not glue the tops of the tags, okay? You just want adhesive like the bottom 2/3 of all of the tags, because we need to be able to access the holes to put the twine through there, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is just finish my tags. And you might have done this, so if so, you can take a little breather for a second. I'm just going to snip the edges off. And usually on the Simple Stories tags paper, they have some that are vertical and some that are horizontal. And so that's kind of what I was going off of I wanted the 4 horizontal ones coming out and then the vertical ones at the bottom. Again, if you don't like what it says, find an embellishment to cover it up, right? But I think for these, I don't think I really covered any of them. I think I just left them. Very, very pretty. All right, and then I'll grab my hole punch and add that. Add the holes to each one. And then the twine should be in that die cut bag, the one that we packaged for you. And that might be about the last thing in it, because I think we've used up almost all of it. Right. I don't know if you've seen, but the new Simple Stories that's out for pre-order now, the summer collection, it's happy and bright. It reminds me a lot of this, but it's just so fun. I'm excited to work with it and make kits with it. All right, hole punch, here it is. Oh, Irene had messaged me. So I posted a photo yesterday on my Instagram of my desk, which was clear at that time. And she said, "What is that container?" So she had zoomed in. I'll show you this. I did not make this. I bought it on Etsy, but it's this really cool organizer and it holds your Cricut, like, it's got a slot for almost everything. And so I've been like using it, trying it out, and then making notes to tweak it. So for my events, my dad and my nephew both have a 3D printer. When I need things, I typically let them know and they start printing for me. And my dad, for my dad, like it's just given him something to do. He's retired. He enjoys it. I send him the filament and then he makes it and it ends up in your boxes, right? My nephew, he wants to nickel and dime me a little bit. So I do send him the filament and then he usually also gets paid either in Roblox money or cash, depending on what he prefers at the time. He's actually about to graduate from 8th grade. And he's already started printing my things for my next event. So, but my dad, after this last one, was like, maybe it's time for you to invest in your own printer. Like, yeah, maybe it is, because I have all these ideas that I want to try that are specifically for crafters. So we will see. But when I had the idea for the teacup, I had found a file, and then my dad was actually here at the time because I think it was over Christmas that we were working on it. Just because with as many, like printing 100, if it's a 9-hour print and you can only print so many at a time and all that. So anyway, I had this idea, which people who work with me kind of like, they either laugh or cringe when I say I have an idea. Because I did that a lot to Andrea and Becky Adams when we were planning for Crafty Academy. So I knew that I wanted some sort of flower pot, and I found flower pot designs, and then I knew I wanted some sort of cup, but we couldn't just find the right thing. Okay, so my dad helped me design this, and I loved the basket weave because growing up, my mom was a huge Longaberger basket person. Okay, so there were a lot of thoughts that went into this. All right, so my dad designed this. Okay, and then we printed a couple of samples, and what we realized is like one cup took 9 hours. Okay, and he's like, how many do you need? And I said 102. So we actually had to outsource this one for the first time ever. I found someone on Etsy. I let him know what I was doing it for, all that. And yeah, we worked together, and I don't even know how many machines he has, but it's a lot because I told him way in advance. I told him, I think like the first week of January, and I had them like, I would say end of January or beginning of February, and I didn't even need them till March, right? So I had to outsource this one just because I was, too detailed. But the next event that I'm working on, it's not. I didn't have to outsource that one. So yeah, so that was kind of when my dad printed that one and it took 9 hours. He was like, maybe it's time for you to get your own machine. Like, yeah, maybe. But I'm just worried it'll end up like Cricut and one machine will turn into 4 machines really quickly. And all right. I took the product strip off of my paper, and then I have my tags. If you are access only, I'm so sorry that this paper you probably can't find anymore. I bought a huge amount of this paper because I love the pink grid, and when American Crafts was closing, yeah, they had paper really, really good deals for us. So yeah, I grabbed it. So this is actually, is it Obed Marshall? And yeah, it's pretty much impossible to find, but any light pink would work. You could probably even get away with a light yellow as your background, but I wasn't able to link this on my supply list. All right, so then we have a piece of the coral, and then another piece of that green summer from a different collection that match well. And what we want to do is lay these out. They do not have to be the same order, but I will go through and show you which ones should be horizontal. And then I also popped some up. Bicycle. Okay. So this one says make lemonade, and we end up covering that up. That ends up being, so these 4 are my horizontal. So those you do want to keep the same. Unless you wanted to switch it to like the red gingham, that would work. The others are pretty much, you might be able to use the So Sweet. I don't know. All right, so I kind of have an idea of how high they will go here. And then I can place this and go ahead and glue this and tuck these underneath. I'm over a little bit far. I've got to shift this over. Let me ink these. Deborah said love Longaberger. You know what? I still have, I have 2 Longaberger baskets upstairs that one of them is like a 4th of July one because I was just putting out some red, white, and blue decorations yesterday for Memorial Day. I know it's only April, but graduation's Memorial Day weekend. So I'm like, I'm just taking down the Easter and putting up the red, white, and blue, and we're going with it because I won't have time to get back to it. So I'm going to adhere the coral. And if you're counting, it's about 4 cubes or 4 squares over and like 1.5 squares down, if you want to know exact. And then for the green, I'm not going to adhere all the way over to this edge because I want to be able to tuck the tags a little bit. All right, so for the tags, these are, they don't line up exactly. Here, let me show you. Let me see if you can see it with the ruler. So they're just a little bit off. The bike and the yellow gingham line up, and then the floral and the lemons line up. Okay, so it's kind of every other, but it's very, very minimal, probably like 1/4 of an inch. Oh, hold on. Ink. Do not put adhesive at this part, right? Because we need to be able to access where the hole in the tag is. Okay, do that. Ink the bike. All right, so the Longaberger, I love their pottery. And I have a few pieces that were my grandma's Longaberger pottery, and then I have a couple pieces like, it's the blue, and I have the vase and the pie plate. Oh, I love the pie plate. Yeah, so I have a few. But yeah, my mom, I remember that growing up. She'd have Longaberger parties. We had so many baskets. One more to ink. These are all flat. Okay, so now we have our tags here, and I'm gonna do this one. Oh, thank you, Lisa. All right, so now that we have these in here, I'm gonna show you what to do with the twine, okay? Because I don't think we're gonna get through to the bottom too, but we can at least get started on this top one. So what I'm gonna do is kind of lay it out here and then give myself a little bit extra. You could also cut it after you get it threaded through, but I think it's easier to do this. So what I did is go under and then over. All right, so I'm gonna go under in the flower. And then over on the bicycle. Under on the lemons. And then I want enough for a loop. I might have gone, I went a little short, but that's okay. We're gonna make a loop right here. So I'm leaving a little bit of extra. And then I'm gonna go over and out here. Since I cut mine short, I'm actually not gonna have it hang out. I'm just gonna have it end underneath. All right, so now that you have you have it threaded through, now what you wanna do is shape it, all right? And with that, you're gonna use your liquid adhesive. Oh, Nicole, you have the maroon bowls. Yeah, okay. Oh, the stair basket. Yes, I remember my mom had the umbrella basket. I just remember that one being like right inside our front door. And my dad has found me a few Longaberger pieces here and there at different like thrift shops. Okay, so for this one right here, I'm gonna put a little twist in it. So all I did was just twist the string, made a little like loop like that, and then I'm just gonna put glue tiny bit down behind it, and then be patient and hold it down. I got to get my glue to cooperate. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue here and just give it a few seconds, hold it in place. Okay, then up here, same thing, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue underneath, and then I've kind of shaped that loop. So it's going to look more natural, like it's flowing through, kind of like wavy spaghetti, right? But you've kind of controlled it. It's not loose on the page, right? Then when I get over here to my end, I'm going to make it sort of like a letter C. And same thing, I'm putting my glue here and then wrapping the twine around. Okay, so you've created these, like to someone who's looking at your page, you've created it so that it looks like it's flowing through, but you've actually held it down, right? And then you're gonna add different embellishments too. So that's what I've done. And the only thing I did differently for the bottom is on this side, I did a bow, which you could do or you don't have to. You know, you could hide it or you could loop it around, all right? And then, yeah, we've got foam stickers here and a few of the bits and pieces. Let's see. Oh, gave baskets to my bridesmaids. Oh, I love that. Love it. Okay. I am going to just briefly show you the other two bonus layouts, and then we're going to break for lunch. All right, so for bonus layout, this is number 5. This is a grid. Grids are very popular. I said that in my last event, like grids are having a moment in scrapbooking, just like protein is having a moment at the grocery store, right? So I feel like a grid is the best way to use up all of the things at the end, okay? So even if if it wasn't pre-cut for you and you ended up with all these extra papers from the paper pad or whatever, this formula you can use again and again, all right? So I did 3.5-inch squares on the outer and 3-inch on the inner so that I could easily do 3-inch photos, all right? I changed the middle up a little bit so that we could have that big card. And then same thing down here. It's the 3.5 on the outer square and the 3-inch on the inner square. And you can use this again and again and again. If you do 3 Craft Chicks, they always do such cute events. They call it samplers and they do different variations of these. But it's just a great way to use up collections that are left, like Bash Your Stash. And yeah, be able to do this. And this is also easy to then add a second page. Just keep going with more of it if you want it to be a double page. All right. Oh, thanks, Gina. Okay. Then our last one. This is just 3 full 6x8 pieces of paper. Okay. So it was 3 leftovers from our paper pad that you're just stacking here as your background. Again, if you wanted to continue it as a second page, usually in your paper pad, there's 2 of each pattern, right? If you have the full, for this you only get the half. But if you wanted to extend this and use this on other layouts, then you just choose. And my rule of thumb here is that this one is more solid. This is my really bold pattern or floral, and then this one is simpler like a dot, okay? And then I would extend it across to the next page too. Okay, so that's a good way to use up if you have a whole stack of paper pads and you don't know, you don't know what you're going to do with them. There you go. For this one, I also focused on only the black and white, sort of sketchy looking, I mean like sketch with a pencil, not sketchy, suspicious. But I stuck with these die cuts because I didn't really feel like they fit as well mixing in with how I was using so much color on my other pages. So I used them all on this one. This is also where I split that journal card top and bottom, right? We cut that one that was like 2 inches at the top and 2.5 underneath. And then this is another way to add a little bit of color and then have your space for journaling, right? And it gives it a hint of above and below. Okay. All right. That was a lot. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope that you were able to finish some pages. Please, especially if you've added photos, please post it in the group. We want to see. Yeah, and also you could post selfies with your little teacup and plate that Tracy gave you because we want to see you. We want to see what you're working on. So later, after lunch, Tracy will be doing her album. And then, let me get my schedule. I don't know it off the top of my head. Okay, so we have lunch break, then we have album with Tracy, then we have a dinner break, then we're gonna do make and take with both of us, with each of us, and then bingo, okay? Everything will be in the Facebook group today. This is my make and take. It's a little bookmark that we're gonna make, and the way we set it up is that you can make one for you and one to give to a friend. Really simple, cute, quick make and take. And then Tracy's is really cute too. It's a little mini book that uses the tea garden. And then you should have a bingo card in your box, and we will be playing bingo on here tonight. I also have shopping posted. There's an album in the Facebook group with kits that haven't been released to the public yet. You just comment on there. You can also shop my Etsy store and I can combine the orders. Okay. I think that is it. I think everybody go take a break, go enjoy a snack or lunch. And yeah, I'll be on while Tracy's creating her album because I want to make mine too. So I will see you then. And thank you so much.